Buenos dias, everybody. Nearly there now. How close is this Liverpool team now to footballing immortality? Barca, Bayern have all bitten the dust, and all that remains now is to get past Tottenham Hotspur in this Champions League final. And two Liverpool players that you will recognise, who know a little bit about winning trophies, and Kenny Dalglish, or Sir Kenny Dalglish to give him his proper title. Been through this 3 times, that winning feeling, and we hope, Ken, that the Liverpool players are going through exactly that feeling come 1 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Well, everybody hopes that. I was talking to Aldo earlier and just saying that sometimes you just get a feeling about results, and just seem to have a very positive feeling about the game tonight. And you sort of brush over it when you say they're playing Tottenham, and you've mentioned Bayern Munich and Barcelona in the way here, but Tottenham are a decent team.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be easy, but just, I don't know, just something tells you that it's going to be successful.
Would you get that feeling? And Kenny's just saying there that sometimes you have that feeling in your water when you wake up of a morning that it's going to be a special day.
Certainly hope so. I can be very negative going into games, you know, fearing the worst. But I can see where Kenny's coming from. Everything seems positive with this team. Been positive all season, you know, and no better way to cap it all than, you know, to do what we have to do tonight, and we're certainly capable of doing it. You know, we defend right and play, you know, the way we can play, then we're in with one hell of a chance. What
would you be like on a morning of a major final? Would you be nervous? Would you be up early? What would the rituals be?
I think you're nervous. Would be one of the things. I think if you're not nervous, there seems to be something missing in the preparation for the match. For me, we used to have small-sided games in the morning of a game, especially if it was at home, or if it was away, we maybe just go a walk, go back, get your lunch, back for another sleep, and then get up and go to work. No, it's just part of the build-up. It's part of what you're used to doing, but not everybody does exactly the same thing. So for us, that was what we did, and I really enjoy getting the game going in the morning of the game, just to be five-a-sides. But as I say, the things moved on now. Maybe they're more scientific than what we were. Doesn't mean to say they're any better prepared, but it means more scientific. So we did it the way that we did it because it suited us, and everybody will do it their own way.
He does use that still, Jurgen Klopp, doesn't he? Quite often go to a non-league ground or a second division ground in whatever country they're in for a Champions League game, and do exactly what Kenny's saying there. Get that nervous energy out of their legs in the morning.
It is, because the more you think about the game, you know, you sap your energy away. It is. It's anxiety. You're anxious. You want to get the ball on the spot and get on with it, because it builds up and builds up. I think Jockey was probably the worst at it, wasn't he? In our time, he was never off the toilet, to be quite honest.
But his warm-up was reading the programme.
He was so relaxed, he was. But the nerves, you know, set in, and it's amazing. Even when you've got the experience of what we had, you know, it's still there and you can't get rid of it. You just want kick-off time to come.
But you don't want to get rid of it either.
No, that's right.
You've got to have a wee bit of anticipation. It's the biggest game of the season.
Biggest game of their lives, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, no, if you've been there before.
But this is the chance to win it, though, isn't it? But it makes it even bigger after last season.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if you'd won last season or not. It's still a massive game, and because you never won it doesn't make you any more likely to win it the next time. And if you have won it last year, then you're not any less likely to win it this year either. You just take the game as it comes, and people start looking too deep into things. You'll get what you deserve on the night. If you prepare properly and do what's best for you, you give yourself a better chance. And as players will have rituals that they go into, and like even stupid things like shaving, shave the one way all the time, or you go and you put your right boot on first or your left boot on first, or we even had the rotation who went in the toilet first, and so it's psychological, but it's beneficial as well, because you get yourself into a ritual that this is what you do, and you know what's coming up, and for some reason you know how to time themselves. Ronnie Whelan used to be sick every game, didn't he? And that was when he was picked as well.
That was when you named him in the team. You talked before about the big moments, about waking up in the morning and having this feeling that something special. I mean, you've been a match winner before, and this is a game not only Sir Kenny has fond memories of course, in Bruges, but you were there as well, Aldo, as a Liverpool fan.
I was behind that goal, actually.
How clear are the memories of this, Ken? This goal?
No, I can remember what happened. That bit was a wee bit stupid. jumping the board. Yeah, but I just stepped over it coming back. I didn't fancy myself. Somebody had won a 400 metres hurdle race, and after he completed the race, he tried to jump the hurdle coming back the way to celebrate he'd won it. He fell over, so I thought, I'm not going to do that, so I'll just step over it.
Do you know what? That is one hell of a finish, because at the game, you know, the nerves were creeping. It's one of those games that you thought, it's not going to happen for us here. We had loads of possession, we had loads of shots. They only had one effort. I think Tomo got off the line.
Aye.
And I think you're thinking, it's just not going in. And that's, if Kenny would have done what most forwards would have done, hit the goal, the goalie would have spread himself and saved it. But he knew the opportunity, and to do it, you have to think. And you told me that when I'm going to play for Liverpool, the best, because goalies always go down. You think it, they're out the game. That's a in the final of the Champions League, that is one hell of a finish. To keep your composure and do that, it's amazing.
You had a similar instance against Forest, the 5-0 game.
That's right, yeah.
Beat Peter Stuckey through.
Yeah.
He went through and sat the goalkeeper down.
Just dinked him.
And dinked him. Peter did it against, I think it was Arsenal, sat the goalkeeper down.
That was a great little tuck away, wasn't it? Yeah.
And just tucked it away. So you're on a pitch, you should be paying attention. And the goalkeeper had gone down a bit sharpish before. And I had it in my mind that if I had the opportunity, then just a feint, he'll go. And then all you've got to do is lift it over him. So, for me, if Davy Fairclough had done a Craig Johnson and booted it in, I wouldn't have bothered. Because you've winners' medals in your pocket is the most important thing.
Yeah. In them days, no one done it. That's what I'm trying to get at. No one. It was always just a smash or a tuck in the corner, or whatever. Yeah. No one. Probably the first on the scene that I remember who actually done that little trick. You know, because the goalies just spread themselves. They come on, just go spread, and they're out the game. All you have to do is the target is quality.
Well, as you can see, it is a wonderful morning here. So far, they're expected temperatures to be somewhere close to 30 degrees by the time the game kicks off tonight. And Mark Benstead, we're going to send in and about. We're going to have him here inside the city as well. We want to give you an insight into what the dressing rooms look like. Let's join Mark now for a little look around.
Thanks, Pete. Here we are inside the stadium. This is the Tottenham dressing room. They're actually designated as the home side for tonight's Champions League final. But because their fans are in the north stand on this side of the stadium, they've been allocated the away dressing room. And as you'll see, that works out pretty well in our favour because the home dressing room is that little bit nicer. They've tried to deck it out, make it a little bit more like home. Some of the livery's gone up, so there's still a few other things to be dotted around. But ours is a little bit better. Come with me, I'll take you on a journey across the other side of the stadium to where the Liverpool players will be getting changed in advance of tonight's game. Head out through here. There's other bits and pieces, the sinks, there's the baths, there's the various shower areas. We won't show you them. We'll head on straight through and go back through the course of the stadium. This is the route the Spurs players will take. Of course, this is their first Champions League final, actually the 8th English side to reach a Champions League final. They have had success in other UEFA competitions, though. They're actually looking to complete the set of UEFA trophies, looking to become only the 6th side to do that. They've already won the UEFA Cup, the Cup Winners' Cup, looking to add the Champions League to that record as well. They have done well to get here, of course. They've had incredible results along the way. When it looked like they were going out in the group stages, they will feel this could be their Istanbul. This could be the one where they pull off the miracle. But we hope to do something about that. We know surroundings like this, of course. This is the tunnel area where the two teams will line up ahead of tonight's game. We know something like this because we've been here, of course, just last year. For Spurs, though, this is a very different scenario. They need to get used to this, the pressure of walking out on this occasion, down those steps, out into a packed arena with the eyes of the world watching them. Can they deal with that pressure? Time will tell. Let's show you where the Liverpool players will come there, this side of the stadium. Our fans behind them, of course. Follow me down. You see Liverpool signs, the badges are going up already. It starts to be decked out in advance of the game tonight. Last minute preparations for the final being put in place. This is, as I say, the Atletico Madrid dressing room. It is pretty swanky, and it should be as well, of course. Remember, they only moved into this stadium 2 years ago. It's a relatively new stadium. Originally, this area was an athletic stadium. It's redeveloped for football over the last couple of years, and this is what we have to show for the efforts of Madrid. It is a fantastic setup. This is the Atletico Madrid home dressing room. A little bit more spectacular, I think you will agree. Take a look there. This will wear the Liverpool shirt to be laid out ahead of tonight's game, where the players will sit in preparation of the match. The perfect setting, the perfect preparation for what they hope will be the perfect hour in football. Players will take their seats. Jurgen Klopp will speak to them for the final time. He'll give them the words of wisdom, give them the inspiration to go out there and hopefully get the job done. They hope to return here after the full-time whistle with this to show for their efforts.
Don't you dare touch that, Mark Benstead. He is in that Liverpool dressing room at the moment, and you would imagine, and you've been there as a player and also a manager as well, Ken, how important is Jurgen Klopp once it gets a little bit closer to kick-off? Will all his messages have already been spoken about, or will he have one last inspirational talk for them?
Well, yet to define what the team's going to be, Tottenham and Liverpool, so he's got that to add to whatever he said to the lads now. But I think it's not just today that where Jurgen will come into his own. I think he's been like that since he's come into the club, and it's been really refreshing the way he's gone about the job and everything that he's done for the football club. And you can't, in any way, shape or form, be anything other than happy about how the progress has gone with the club. I think the club's get back to where it was before, where everybody was very important, and he was grateful for the help anybody gave him in and around the club. And you go to Melwood now, and it's the same feeling as what it used to be. So Jurgen's been hugely influential in where we are now, and let's hope we can get the reward for all the work that he's done. We're lifting the trophy tonight.
You wouldn't want anybody else in that position, would you, other than Jurgen Klopp, if you were a player, to just deliver one last rousing speech?
No. You know, Kenny said it's spot on. He's been impeccable. He's a dream to have as a manager and front your club. You know, he is almost like Shankly, like in the modern trend. And you trust him with everything. You know, the signings, whatever he does, you believe in him. And he's got the players believing in him. You know, otherwise we wouldn't have got here and done some things what we've done this year. It's been an amazing season, ridiculous season. Some of the results and what we've done in the league has been absolutely ridiculous. And without him, we wouldn't have ever got anywhere near it.
I think
now, obviously, sorry, Ken.
The only thing missing, obviously, is it would have been the league championship, would have put the icing on the cake. But because there's no trophy there for everybody to see how well they've done, it doesn't deflect from the fact that they've been brilliant this season. To get the number of points you got, goals, wins, top goal scorers, 2 of them, goalkeeper, most shutouts. I mean, what else can you do? The full-backs, most assists. You just go on and on. Substitutes coming on and making a greater contribution than any other substitutes that have come on for any other club. How can you top that? The only thing you need is a wee bit of silverware to truly reflect how well they've done this season.
We talked quite extensively about Barcelona, and we will continue to do that hopefully after tonight's game. But one thing that came out extensively from the players was the rousing speech that Jurgen Klopp had given before the game. Here's a little insert to that from Jordan Henderson, his captain.
It was an amazing talk really before the game, and I can remember him sort of saying that he would see it's an impossible task or challenge, but because it's us, then there's a chance, really. And I remember that, like him starting with that, and then from that point, I think everybody sort of knew that we're capable of doing something special.
It brings a smile to everybody's faces, and he's a player that brings a smile to people's faces. A player you signed, and the revolution perhaps of Jordan Henderson now as Liverpool captain. This is the big occasion for him tonight. We hope he gets his hands on that trophy. How much do you feel he's improved over the years, Cap?
Oh, I think he's made a huge contribution over the time he's been here. He was only a boy when he came here, and he's matured and developed. And I think on the pitch where you're looking for people to get you out of a bit of trouble or just keep you going, I think you look at him and you look at Millie as well when he's on the pitch, because he's been influential as well this year when he's come on, or the games that he's taken part in. Milner's a good professional to have in and around the dressing room and on the pitch, and Jordan's the same. He's captain for a reason, because people can look up to him and he can lead by example, and he does it. He might not be the greatest player in the squad, but that doesn't make any difference. Everybody's got their own attributes, and his attributes is really strong, and desire and determination to be successful. So it takes a lot of different types to make a successful team, and certainly the components he's got, you need in any team to be successful.
Yeah, he's a leader. You know, fortunately this season, you know, you roll it back a couple of years against Seville, we had very few leaders, if any. You know, and Jordan's a leader. You know, he took the captain's armband and he's got better and better. Van Dijk's a leader. Milner's a leader. You know, you need leaders on the pitch. You know, going back to our day, we had leaders all over the pitch. You know, it helps to get you over the line. And these 3 lads are imperative. And the communication within the team now is so much better. Even the Robertson, he's a leader. He's a Scotland captain as well, and he talks. You know, you've got to have that in your team, and unfortunately we've got that, and that's the reason, one of the main reasons why we're here. And Jordan's contributed to that magnificently.
When you look at the players, they get how good they've been, and they get past that, and they look at the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper's got a huge presence. When you go through one-on-one with him, by the way, I think there's too many fancy their chances. So he's been fantastic for us as well, although he's not been called upon that often. But when he has been, he's been brilliant. But even just his presence is fantastic. The whole lot of them, they're just so complementary to each other, and they've not all got the same attributes, but they all channel them into the benefit for the team, and that's why it's been a pleasure to watch.
How key a man will the goalkeeper be tonight? Alisson won the Golden Glove in his first year at Liverpool. Will he be a busy man tonight? First All-English Champions League final since 2008. Two managers desperate for trophy number one. We're going to be heading inside the stadium after this very short break, and lots more to come from Sir Kenny Dalglish and John Aldridge next. Good evening, you're watching LFC News, and here are tonight's headlines.
Hello there, very good evening to you. Welcome along to LFC News live from Anfield.
Jurgen Klopp's side, well, they arrived here in Charlotte, North Carolina yesterday morning.
Late on Friday, Liverpool confirmed their third summer signing.
LFC News brings you daily bulletins from Melwood and a live extended programme every evening at 5 and 6 o'clock. LFC News, be in the know.
Alan Kennedy's penalty goal leaves Rome distraught and Merseyside jubilant.
Liverpool are champions of Europe again!
Good morning. This beautiful stadium, 68,000 capacity, that will have seen and heard nothing like what is in store for them tonight. Probably full of Scousers as well, as they try and cheer their team onto this historic 6th European Cup in the sunshine. Going to be about 30 degrees by the time the game kicks off tonight. And Sir Kenny Dalglish and John Aldridge are feeling the heat. Maybe not the pressure of an occasion like this, because they've been through so many big games before. But you at home, I'm sure, feeling the nerves, and we're up very early this morning as well. Let's get inside the stadium, see how the nerves are jangling for Mark Benstead and former Liverpool midfielder Jason McAteer.
Thanks, Pete. Yeah, the nerves are starting to jangle, even though we are hours away from kick-off. Jason's with me pitch side. It is a stunning arena for this evening's Champions League final, Jason. What will the players be feeling on the morning of the game? And now it's starting to become real for them. They're here, they know it's around the corner. How will their feelings be just now?
It'll be very individual. You know, everyone's made up of different stuff. You know, obviously Liverpool having the advantage of being in this stage last season, they'll know what it's all about. For the Tottenham players, it'll be completely different. You know, there'll be a bit of anxiety around the Tottenham camp, a bit of worry, the nerves, you know, handling the adrenaline rush that's probably greeted them as they've woke up. Hopefully they haven't had a good night's sleep. But on the other hand, the Liverpool lads, you know, like I said, they've been here before. They probably can handle it a bit better. They'll get up and they'll get into their own match mode, really. It probably would have started yesterday when they would have left Melwood, got on the plane. Like I've mentioned before in a couple of the shows, it's all about sitting next to your mates, you know, watching maybe the same thing or listening to certain music, you know, getting you in that moment. And then you'll get on the coach. You'll probably have your own seat on the coach, so you'll make your way to that seat, and then your hotel, you'll probably hang your stuff up and, you know, go through a routine. Football is a creature of habit. You know, when you've got a winning habit, what Liverpool players have at this moment in time, having only lost one in the last 23, it'll be repetitive what they do, but it'll be individual. You know, some players will eat the same thing. Some players might have something different.
How did you find the big games, though? You know, cup finals, World Cup games. Did you find it different? Did you find the stomach in knots? Were you relaxed? How were you personally?
Yeah, the tension was a bit higher. The anxiety and the adrenaline was flowing. But it's all about handling that. You know, I was very much a joker, wasn't I? So, you know, I'd always be like around playing jokes, talking probably a lot. That's what I do. Probably to get through the nerves. And just wanting to get on with it, really. You know, we'd go for that afternoon sleep if it was a nighttime game. And you just hopefully fall asleep and get a bit of rest. But sometimes the nerves just overtake you and you're lying there and you're picturing things. You know, you're probably going through good moments in your career when you played well, or you put certain crosses in or scored certain goals, or great memories you've got. You just reliving them, you know, just to get yourself excited and in the moment.
What did you relive of yours? What was your go-to moment?
The Holland goal was pretty special.
Thought you might say that.
But yeah, I mean, you know, just to get yourself set up. I mean, you're obviously not going to try and think negative, are you? You want to think positive things. So,
just find, what will be the feeling of the players then when they walk out here? What will go through their heads when this hits them?
Well, this is why you get here to the stadium earlier. I mean, we used to get an hour before the game. Now they're getting here 2 hours before the game because the managers, you know, they want them. And there's probably scientific proof as well that they want to get here a bit earlier because they want to settle into the surroundings. They'll come out, they'll get a feel for the pitch. You know, they'll check their footwear, what they need. Obviously, the heat will greet them. So they'll realise that. They'll probably be loading up on fluids and, you know, supplements this afternoon to combat any kind of fatigue that the heat's going to throw at them. So all that's, you know, part of the preparation. But they just want to get in and surrounded. They trained here last night, so they'll be comfortable. And they just want to, probably at that stage when you arrive, you just want to get on with it.
Okay, great stuff, Jason. Yeah, it's only, back of 11 here in the morning just now. I think we're already in need of some fluid, so we're going to head off and do just that. Send it back to you guys, and Jason will come and join you later on in the show.
You look $1 million, boys. Don't you worry about that. Welcome back outside, and the heat has been something you've been talking about in the break. You said it reminds you of playing for Ireland in Orlando in midday heat.
I think there's a couple of other coals just got put on the fire there. To be fair, it's roasting. Yeah, we were just saying. Me and Kenny were talking there in the '94 World Cup in Orlando. We played Mexico and Holland at 12:30 kickoff, like more or less now. It was like this.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. I swear it was ridiculous, and you weren't allowed to have water on the pitch then, which made it farcical. So it can be uncomfortable. You know, one thing tonight, you know, it'll be warm, but it'll be a nice heat. It'll be a nice heat you can do. It's when the sun's over like that, you know, and it's very hard to get your breath. The way we play and the Geiger press and the way we play, it can be a little bit difficult to get you know, to suck it in and get it back, especially if you're playing this time of day. But thankfully, we'll be okay when it's later on.
Yeah, a bit shaded.
It won't suit them either because they're a high-tempo team as well, aren't they? So
true.
It's nice. It's going to be 9 o'clock. Be a little bit cooler. Be no sunshine, I wouldn't have thought. But the game, if it's like this, it's going to be a slow game. But later on, they may have a chance to be their normal selves and go at each other. Because if the two of them have a go at each other, it's going to be some spectacle.
Jason touched on it there, Ken, about the Liverpool players believe in this, I think, as well, that they feel they're going to be better for the experience that they had last year, and it's fresh in their minds as well. Do you go along with that, having been through this already? They maybe got the upper hand on Tottenham?
I don't think it makes you any better. As I said earlier, if you won it last year, it wouldn't have helped you this year. Because you've lost it doesn't do you any harm. So Tottenham's never been before, but then Liverpool had never won it before either, did they, till 77? So it doesn't matter. You can make an argument or you make a case for both sides. It's just whatever's going to happen out there will happen, and it doesn't matter whether you've been there every year before or this is your first time. It's just whoever's best on the night, and maybe whoever gets a little bit of good fortune on the night is going to be the one that wins.
Go along with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you know, it's on the night who plays the best, to be quite. Look, if we play the way we can play, the way we've seen us play, i.e. Barcelona, we'll beat Tottenham. I don't think they can handle us, you know, but can we? You know, it's easier said than done. They're fantastic going forward, and we know Mora and Son and whatever happens with Kane. You have to stop them. You know, we stopped Suarez, we stopped Messi. You know, we can stop them. We can stop anyone in world football, but we have to do it.
I think it'll be interesting to see how they play. If they go with 5 at the back or 4, I think that'll be an interesting start for them. They might leave out a left back and put Vertonghen over there, or they might start with 3 in there and keep Davis in. I don't know, but that for me will be interesting, because whoever's going to play against their front 3 is going to have a tough night.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, they dovetail so well. They've produced almost 70 goals between the 3 of them this season as well. Who is equipped to stop them in whatever shape that they go with? That's the big thing, isn't it?
Both sides, yeah.
And you couldn't legislate for what happened last year with Mo. A cruel challenge, and he does his shoulder, he has to come off the pitch. So there need to be contingency plans as well. You can't just go up with one thing in your mind, because at the end of the day it could blow up in your face. But the front 3 have been magnificent this year, and when one's a little bit off, one of the other 2 take the stage. So they've made a huge contribution individually and collectively, but I just want to see how they're going to line up tonight. And I think they might stick 3 up front as well. So it could be head for head. They could be going.
I think we know our side. I think we know our side. Basically, it's going to be either Milner and Wijnaldum, and the rest, you know, Bobby Firmino, it picks itself. And Kenny's right. We played against them where they switch, they actually change formations during games, don't they? And it is, you know, he can't play Kane, Son, you know, Mora, Dele Alli, Ericsson. It's impossible. He can't play that, because it'd be a crazy game. But I think it's going to be whatever he plays at the back will make him pick who he's going to pick up front, because he's got to get it right, because we are so good, and they know that.
The big one that everybody's looking at, Ken, is Bobby Firmino, isn't it, as to whether he is ready and able. Looked okay in training last night. Never really traditionally took risks on players, but a Champions League final is different, isn't it? That he has to take a risk with him.
A lot of people, even when it comes to playing somebody that's not played for a while, have a different opinion. For us, for me, if somebody had been out for a little while, I always thought it was best to start them, because if you don't start them and you put him on his sub and he goes on and breaks down, that's you use 2 subs, because you've got to take him off. You put him on in place of somebody, and then you're taking him off again. So it depends how you look at it. And most of the foreign managers tend to look at it, we'll put him on for 20 minutes or half an hour. But it doesn't matter how long he's on the pitch for. It's a contribution that he makes, and there's no reason why, for me, if he's fit, why he shouldn't and couldn't start. So, but everybody's got a different idea, and they'll be speaking to sports scientists who'll be telling them he can do half an hour, or he'll do 40 minutes or something. And I think it's very difficult to assess how much somebody can do after he's come back from injury, because if you take Harry Kane, for example, he's got a big heart, and if you're a Harry Kane or you're Firmino and you want to play and you want to be out there, sometimes that takes you past the timing that scientifically tells you that that's all you can do. Once you're on the pitch, it's murder to come off. It's murder to come off.
It is. The one thing is, we always talk about it, training. When you're in training, it's fine, you can get through training, but on an occasion like this, and you haven't played for so long like Harry Kane, it's your timing. You know, your timing's not there, because your timing came when you were playing matches in one game, 2 games, you got better and better and better. So that's a big shout for them. I personally don't think he can start Harry Kane. I think Firmino's been out for like 3.5 weeks or so, whatever it be. I don't think there's any problem there, and Kenny's right. See what you get out of him time-wise.
Okay, we need to wrap it up, Ken, because we need to let you go. You've probably got your own pre-match ritual to go through now as we tick on and talk a little bit later.
Go and find some red wine and white wine.
I was going to say, what is the ritual now for you to settle into life as a Liverpool fan now? What will you do this afternoon?
Oh, I don't know. I'll go somewhere for my lunch anyway. That's a certainty.
No golf.
I've missed my breakfast. Oh no, no golf.
No good range, no.
You can't put your clubs on a car when you come to the Champions League final, can you? That's a bad impression, that.
Well, listen, it's been brilliant to see you, and thank you for spending some time with us as well. So Kenny Dalglish will go on his way, and hopefully he brings us a bit of luck later on. As I mentioned there, we're going to talk Trent Alexander-Arnold, drift back inside the stadium, and also be out and about with a guy who's going to be performing in front of tens of thousands later, and he is not a player. We're back with that after this short break.
Good evening, you're watching LFC News, and here are tonight's headlines. Hello there, very good evening to you. Welcome along to LFC News, live from Anfield.
Jurgen Klopp's side, well, they arrived here in Charlotte, North Carolina yesterday morning.
Late on Friday, Liverpool confirmed their third summer signing.
LFC News brings you daily bulletins from Melwood and a live extended programme every evening at 5 and 6 o'clock. LFC News, be in the know.
And a big thank you to Sir Kenny Dalglish, who's been taking in the atmosphere of this wonderful city that Liverpool fans have been making the absolute most of over the last 24 hours or so. The last of them arrive into Madrid this afternoon, hoping they are, or this is worth all of the trouble they've gone to, whatever they've chosen, trains, planes, automobiles, to try and get to the city. Jason McAteer has joined us at this presentation position, and because it's a breakfast show, we won't show you the back of John Aldridge's shirt that is really feeling the heat.
It's the armpits I'm worried about, Peter. Yeah. They've gone. They've gone.
It's really warm.
If you're in the midst of your Rice Krispies, we won't put you through that just at present. And now we've talked a little bit about the strikers. We've talked a little bit about maybe the shape of Tottenham. What about the big afternoon or the big evening in store for the Scouser in our team, Trent Alexander-Arnold?
Something very, very special, I think. Obviously you're focused on the games, but you do hear the fans, you hear the songs and everything while you're playing, and to be able to hear that your name's getting sang around Anfield, something really special, something that you dream of growing up as a kid, and hopefully it'll carry on. But yeah, it's something that obviously I'm really thankful for, and it gives the team and whatever player song they do sing at the time a lot of confidence. So yeah, just obviously a big thanks to the fans for doing that for me.
Scouser in our team is Alexander-Arnold, Alexander-Arnold.
The Scouts in our team. Ah, that makes sense. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I like it. The Scouts in our team. The Scouts. It's Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's Trent Alexander-Arnold. The Scouts in our team.
Absolute one-off. Well, we get a manager like him again. Jurgen Klopp enjoying the chant almost as much as Trent Alexander-Arnold does, and probably two players who really understood that, being a Scouser in the team, hearing your song sung for the first time. And it doesn't seem that long ago, although, since he was playing for the under-18s as captain. Here he is now, about to take part in his second Champions League final in as many years.
He's took giant strides, hasn't he? And he's took it all in his stride as well. He's been fantastic. You know, you look at the assist, he's so imperative to the way we play him and Robbo. Obviously, they play like wingers, you know, and then they've got to get back and do the defensive job. And you know exactly what the manager requires of them. And, you know, what can you say about Trent, what hasn't been said? He's just been fantastic, you know. We knew when we used to watch him, obviously, as like a 16, 17-year-old, he had so much talent. but we didn't expect him to fruition as soon as it has. You know, he'll only get better as well.
Do you know what I think about him now? I think for some young players when they're coming through, I mean, he started as centre midfielder, didn't he? And he's had to adapt to go onto that right-hand side, which he's done really, really well. I had to do that myself, actually. I started off sort of a right side and then I went centre midfield for Bolton, and then I ended up on the right for Liverpool. And you've got to adapt, and sometimes when you play for Liverpool, you just play anywhere. So I was put in the team and I stayed there, enjoyed it. We got a way of playing. But what I will say is, he's got a manager that has been brilliant for his progression, because this manager, any other manager with Trent, it might not have worked out, this story. I think see the same with Raheem Sterling, with Pep Guardiola. You know, I feel if Guardiola wasn't at Manchester City, where would Raheem Sterling, where would his career be right now? You know, the development of these young players coming through, you know, sometimes is really helped by the manager in which he's got. And you mentioned it there, you know, when we ever get a manager like this. But Liverpool have always replaced big players. You look at Keegan, then Kenny comes in, you know, Aldo goes, and then Robbie comes through, and then Robbie goes and Michael Owen comes through. But we've had managers like that as well. You look at Shankly, you know, then he's replaced by, you know, Paisley comes in, and then Joe Fagan comes in, and then Kenny takes over, you know, and then Roy Evans stays with a bit. And now we've got Jurgen Klopp, and Liverpool have always replaced managers and players, and it's been a brilliant progression.
And we've talked to two Scousers here and talked about the Scouser in the team. What about a big Scouser who, or only a little Scouser, but he's got a big occasion ahead today, and it's got nothing to do with the football. He's going to feel like you two a little bit later. Mark Benstead with a very special singer.
Thanks, Pete. Yeah, there's a few things you need for a European away game. You need hat, scarf, badge, maybe a few bevies as well, if that's your thing. You also need this man alongside me, Jamie Webster, to perform, because he is the soundtrack to an away game these days. Jamie, you're performing later on in Madrid. How are the nerves? Which are you more nervous about, the match or the performance?
Definitely the match. My performance, I'm excited. Obviously, more people are better for me, so I'm just looking forward to getting out there and, you know, feeling the atmosphere with the crowd. But no, the match, I'm definitely nervous for that.
Do you still have the memories from Shevchenko Park last year? Do they still live you? Because that was just incredible. People still talk about it.
Yeah, goosebumps sometimes when I think about, especially the LA at the end. Yeah, the goosebumps still stand up on my neck. And I remember it gave us a feeling like nothing else walking into the stadium at Kiev. Gave us a feeling of confidence like no other. So I'm hoping that we can have that same effect today, and hopefully, you know, the Reds do the business as well. And be a good day and night for everyone on the Red side anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was something special last year. Do you think there's a chance to perhaps better that this year round, and just because everyone now is aware of what that was like, people will be ready for it, expecting it a little bit?
Definitely. I don't think anyone expected it to be as big as it was last year, but this year, obviously, we've had a lot more planning. The people working behind the scenes have been absolutely brilliant to ensure that, you know, the sounds and vision and everything's going to be perfect for all the supporters in there. My throat's nice and warmed up, so I'll be giving them a good show as well. And yeah, I think it'll be brilliant. I really do. I think it'll be a cracking day.
What does it mean to you to know you're now part of this experience? You know that Liverpool's European history is folklore, but now you're kind of working your way into that bit by bit.
Yeah, it's a dream come true for me. Like, it's a privilege, because obviously before all this music started, I was still coming to Europe on every away trip, and every away trip in England I was up and down. So the fact that now, you know, I do a lot of work with the club, and you know, I've got a lot of good friends at the club now as well, and I feel they've always made me feel part of everything that I've been involved in. And yeah, it's a dream come true for me to obviously be out here playing in front of 50,000 people potentially today. You know what I mean? It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, and obviously if we win the European Cup, you know, for the 6th time, it'd be amazing to say that. I thought I was going to be able to say it last year, but it'd be amazing to say that, you know, I had a part to play in, like, the day and the build-up to it all. And, yeah, obviously I'm proud as anything.
At what point today will you start thinking about the match more, or do you try and block it out all the way through until you pretty much get here?
I always just tend to take each event as it comes. So last night I had a gig in the hotel, so that was the only thing on my mind. Today, at the minute, the only thing on my mind now is getting to the fan park and getting my gig over with. Once that gig's finished, then my stomach will start turning for the match then. Okay. But I just have a process. I just have a process where you take each thing as it comes. But as I say, we've got the big gig and then we've got the big match. So let's hope the gig goes well and the match goes even better.
We've got the gig. What about the match then? How do you see it going? What does your gut tell you about tonight?
The thing is, we're a better team than Tottenham on paper. I think personally. I think that our record in the league shows that. I think, you know, Tottenham, every round of the European Cup, they've been the underdogs and they've had to pull out a miracle near enough to get here. I think we've been the more solid team all round this year. So if basically the two teams play the way that they can do, I think we should come out on top. But you know, these are European Cup finals, anything can happen. I just think we just got to, as fans, we've got to do our job and get right behind the team from the minute go. Try and out-sing the Tottenham fans, try and let the players know that we're there for them again, and hopefully the players do the business like they have done all season. I shouldn't see there being a problem come 90 minutes.
Top stuff, Jamie. Great stuff. Thanks for joining us. Have a good gig later on. Yeah, Jamie's going to close things in the city centre later on stage. What about 4:30, 4:20 to wrap things up? Get everyone in the mood for the game here over at the stadium tonight.
What a man, and he's got some celebrity status now. The fan park is equipped for about 50,000 Liverpool fans. Such is the pull of him and this whole occasion that they're worried that they haven't got enough space for all of the people that want to see him perform here this afternoon. What a day ahead. We're going to hear from some local journalists next.
I came from a mining family. My father was a miner. It was either going down the pits or being a footballer. Sunderland had turned me down because I was too small, and then Sunderland came back again, but I'd promised to come down to Liverpool. I think certainly the army stood me in good stead. At the end of the day, I must take a lot of the credit. We won the championship in 46-7. We had a good side and everything went so well. I can't remember any real one selfish one coming in and trying to rule the roost. The club's always been bigger than the individual. Bill decided to retire. I never applied for the job. It came at us just overnight, and I thought, well, I'd better give it a go. Football is about winning. You've got to entertain too, but it's about winning. I've been particularly lucky in my profession. I certainly wouldn't be big-headed. That's why I try to be modest about the whole thing. There's lots of people earned more than me at this game, but there's nobody enjoyed it as much. I've come to love the Liverpool people. Had I had to do it all over again, I'd do just the same. You'll never walk alone.
Good evening, you're watching LFC News, and here are tonight's headlines. Hello there, very good evening to you. Welcome along to LFC News live from Anfield.
Jurgen Klopp's side, well, they arrived here in Charlotte, North Carolina yesterday morning.
Late on Friday, Liverpool confirmed their third summer signing.
LFC News brings you daily bulletins from Melwood and a live extended programme every evening at 5 and 6 o'clock. LFC News. Be in the know.
Join us in the LFC dressing room every Thursday at 9 o'clock for LFC Later. In a show packed with exclusive interviews, celebrity chats, quirky features and live music, we take a sideways look at events at the club on and off the pitch. Don't miss LFC Later, Thursdays at 9 p.m. on LFC TV.
And with some simplicity, the European Cup surely is won. Across the face of the goal! Alan Kennedy! The unlikely man again.
Alan Kennedy's penalty goal leaves Rome distraught and Merseyside jubilant.
Liverpool are champions of Europe again.
That's where we are in Madrid. Jurgen Klopp says his wife always asks him when the last game of the season is, and apart from 2012, he's never known because he's always, at this stage of the season, been extending that domestic season to a cup final. And here we are again in Madrid, hoping for number 6. Well, we've been warming up, and it has been very warm as well, to what we're hoping is another historic occasion tonight. And we've been sending Mark Benstead here, there and everywhere. He's now sitting down with a couple of Spanish journalists to give us their take on this big game tonight.
Thanks, Pete. Yeah, good morning once again. We've headed out of the stadium now into the city to give you a different feel, a different perspective on the match ahead and get a different viewpoint as well. Tom Allen is from AFP and Ben Hayward is from the Evening Standard. They're both based out here covering Spanish football generally. They're giving us a bit of insight into how the city is feeling about this Champions League final. OK, what is the general feel then in Madrid? Is it one of anticipation, excitement? Is there a trepidation from two English teams coming across? How are they viewing it?
Well, I guess first of all, disappointment in a way that neither Real Madrid or Atleti are involved, which is very unusual here in Spain. I mean, they're very used to the big teams being involved in all the European finals for the last 10, 15 years. So I guess in some ways there's a feeling that this is a bit of a different feel to a final. To have two teams from England in Madrid in the backyard here playing is a new experience for them. But certainly, you know, you go around the centre here, there's big stages, they're laying out all the stops for the fans, and I'm sure this weekend there'll be a buzz like normal.
Yeah, Ben, we should probably go back and look at the semi-finals. Obviously, Liverpool got here by virtue of getting past Barcelona. They did so in such a spectacular fashion as well. How was that viewed here in Spain?
Yeah, you know, obviously Tom said a sense of disappointment that neither of the Madrid teams have made it to this final. Depending on who you ask, disappointment that Barcelona didn't make it, or a sense of relief, obviously around Real Madrid fans in particular, that Barcelona didn't get through to this final. I think people were very impressed with how Liverpool turned that tie around in the second leg. Obviously they played very, very well at Camp Nou, which was noted, but then to win 4-0 against Barcelona in that second leg at Anfield, people were very, very impressed, and you know, it's a big story here, Barcelona's defeat and the nature of that loss. But yeah, certainly from a Liverpool perspective, yeah, people were very impressed with that performance.
Tommy, you know, such a good Barcelona side, such fantastic players still within the squad. They've won the Liga with a certain amount of ease to a degree. Were the shock faces when the result happened, the way it panned out? Did anyone give Liverpool a chance before the semi-finals of progressing past Barcelona?
I think there was always a feeling that it could happen again. After what happened the season before in Rome, there was always a certain fear and an apprehension that maybe that could play on the players' minds again. But I think people believe that Barca would learn from their mistakes, that they would have that experience and they would this time see it through, and particularly this season more than ever, because we heard Lionel Messi saying how he wanted to bring back that beautiful cup to Camp Nou, and despite everything they've done in La Liga, in the Copa del Rey here, the Champions League was really the competition they wanted to win. And the reaction from that result, which was last month now, is still rumbling on. Even this week we heard how Valverde might be getting sacked. We're still talking about that result. The press conference before the cup final the other day was all about questions about Liverpool, all about how do you feel now? How have you got over this result? And it was quite noticeable how we had Lionel Messi saying we still haven't got over it. We're still thinking about it. It's still hurting. And we had Piqué saying as well, that we couldn't handle the atmosphere at Anfield, that basically Liverpool trampled all over us and we weren't able to respond. And for players like Piqué and Messi, who have gone to World Cup finals and won the biggest tournaments in the game, for them to be saying that was quite unusual, really. And certainly I think for Barcelona now, it's all about the Champions League. In some ways we talk about Liverpool having an incredible history in this tournament, but there are 3 or 4 clubs, it seems, at the moment, of which Barcelona are one, who have redefined themselves by winning that tournament. And for sure it's defined their season this season, certainly.
What has that victory for Liverpool done in terms of Jurgen Klopp's stock within Spain? How is he viewed here?
I think he's always had a really good standing here in Spain. I remember back to that Champions League semi-final against Real Madrid, the 4-1 win for Borussia Dortmund against Real Madrid, and then they held on to get to the final in the second leg at the Bernabeu. He's got a very, very high standing here in Spain, and I think that's only been enhanced by the victory and the manner of the victory against Barcelona.
He has a high standing here, but also Mauricio Pochettino perhaps even more so. He's long been linked with Real Madrid. Obviously, we now have a manager in place at this moment, but do you think he is still on the radar for further down the line? We've seen this week ahead of the game, he's been able to train at the training complex with Spurs. How do you view the long-term situation regarding those two parties?
I think it'll always be on Real Madrid's radar for as long as Tottenham are doing as well as they are at the moment. I mean, we often see with coaches that their stock can go up and down, and you never know in the next 2 or 3 years what might happen. It can come and go. But as it stands, if Real Madrid were to sack Zidane at the start of next season, he'd be right up there again, you know, in the top 2 or 3 guys that they're looking at, because you look at the work he's done at Tottenham, his history also in Spain, and I think the way he plays the game is perhaps not the sort of purest style that maybe you associate with Barcelona. It's a sort of a mentality where all out to win, you know, and I think that maybe suits Real Madrid as well. And we've seen with Pochettino that when he comes over to Spain before with Spurs, you know, he knows how to play the game. You know, he speaks to journalists a bit more. You know, he certainly is very friendly and smiley and cuddles up to reporters here. You know, I think as much as anyone, as any players or any clubs doing, he knows he's got a standing and a career to protect. And I think if he decides at some point in the next few years that his work is done at Tottenham, I'm sure Real Madrid would be a club that he would be very interested in taking charge of as well.
I just wonder, with the way that Madrid are and the way they have acted in the past, do you think that him coming to their city, winning the biggest trophy with Tottenham, would be the kind of thing that would appeal to them? It would impress them, the kind of thing that would catch their eye and would kind of mark his card even more so for further down the line?
I think so, definitely. I mean, there's one thing that Real Madrid fans like, it's winning, you know. I mean, they're not quite the same as in Barcelona, where they want to see a certain style of football, a certain style of player as well. Real Madrid's reason to be is to win, it's success. And if Pochettino came here with a club like Tottenham, who haven't spent very much money, who have brought through young players as well and played football in an attractive way, and they saw him winning here, the biggest tournament, which obviously is the competition that Real Madrid associate themselves with more than any other competition, I'm sure that would go a long way to persuading them that he's the kind of coach who could be successful here.
In terms of the game then this evening, Ben, who do you think are considered favourites here amongst the media? Who are the papers writing more about? Who are they focusing more on? Who do they want to win, I guess?
I think they're more focused on Liverpool. I think because Liverpool are the bigger team, they've had the better season, and just because of the way that they beat Barcelona in the semi-finals, I think most people here would consider Liverpool to be favourites, and I think that's probably fair. Obviously, they're in the final last season against Real Madrid, and you know, back this time, 5-time winners of the European Cup as well. I think most people here in Spain consider Liverpool to be favourites, and I think perhaps more people here, from what I've seen anyway, would like Liverpool to win the competition.
So perhaps the favourites then locally. Who are observers saying has more riding on this, do you think, Tom? Who do you think has more to win, more to lose by victory this evening?
I think Liverpool, because I think they were here last year in the final, not here but in the final, and the fact they lost it, I think that means they have that extra experience. For Tottenham, in a way, this final, I mean, of course, Liverpool beating Barcelona in the way they did was an incredible comeback, an incredible surprise. But Tottenham being in the final is a bigger surprise. You know, we almost have come to expect that Liverpool deliver in the Champions League. This is a tournament they love. At Anfield, they can beat any team in Europe. Whereas Spurs, for whatever reason, haven't really been in that category. So for Spurs to be in this final, I think there might be a certain sense, they would probably deny this, but a certain sense that we're pleased to be here. You know, what an incredible achievement to have got this far. Whereas I think Liverpool, after losing last year's final, and the history they have in this competition, they'll see this as a massive opportunity. They beat Tottenham in the league twice already this season, and this is a great chance for them to win another European Cup. And I think the pressure will be on them, but at the same time, perhaps because they've been here and done it, they've come to a final. The same group of players pretty much had this experience last year. Perhaps the nerves, perhaps that. Looking around the stadium and seeing all the crowd and a sense of pressure will be slightly less for them as well. So it'll be interesting to see how the players handle the occasion more than anything else, because what Pochettino said this week, and I think Jurgen Klopp tends to agree with this kind of thing, is that these big matches are often won on moments, that they're won on emotions. You can talk about tactics and players and formations, but what it often comes down to is which teams can handle the pressure, can deliver in those key moments that define the match. And I think Liverpool are probably the favourites to be able to handle that better.
Okay, Christoph, guys, thank you for giving us your insights into tonight's game. It promises to be an enthralling encounter. These gentlemen will be writing about it across the course of the weekend. Who will be capturing the headlines, though? Only time will tell.
Nervy time, and you've done well to find a table without any beer on in this city as well, as the Liverpool fans arrive in force. Now, you will have, I'm sure, a moment in this Champions League journey where you think, that was the clip that really captured me. And one of Jurgen Klopp's favourite clips of the season so far, he says, bar none, is Aldo and Steve Hunter's commentary against Barcelona. If you've watched it before, and I'm sure you have, it's probably worth a reminder anyway.
Good evening, everybody. A pleasure and a privilege, as always, to be at Anfield, where we are hoping for another miracle like Istanbul. Mistake, Mane entered the area. Great skill. Henderson's in the box. Henderson saved it. Yes! Divock Origi! Would you believe it? Alexander-Arnold beats Albert on the right-hand side. Only Mane in the box. Trent's cross. Wijnaldum! Shaqiri on the left, brilliant cross, Wijnaldum! This is unbelievable! This is delirium! Anfield, have you ever heard noise like this? 12 minutes to go in normal time. Liverpool 3-0. Corner taken quickly, Origi! Been pushed to the ground. Yes! Yes! We've done it! Yes! Liverpool! Yes! The Champions League final in Madrid. It's our greatest football of all time at Anfield.
If that doesn't bring a smile to your face, you've got a swinging brick in there instead of a heart.
You know what I'm worried about? We've got to stand next to him tonight.
Let's hope we're all doing that tonight, please.
You had a famous moment in 2005, didn't you? The radio commentary, which became famous for your screams when the goals go in. But you're there again tonight alongside Steve Hunter. Hopefully that will top it all.
Oh, please, God, yeah. I'm 60 going on to 16 now. I've gone back to what I used to be like as a teenager. I think that just epitomised everyone for that game, because we were all so engrossed in the comeback and the way it panned out. It was just ridiculously fantastic, as was Istanbul, obviously, at the biggest stage. I don't think I could go through that again. Let's just try and do it nice and simply. Obviously, it'd be lovely to win 1-2, 3-0, whatever. But that was unbelievable. I've been at Anfield, you know, for 55 years now. I've been going to game and St Etienne and all that. But that was the best.
Yeah, we had a couple of pints last night to try and settle our nerves, Jason. He won't even talk about the game, will he?
He won't let us talk about the game. Never mind him talk about the game.
It's just the nerves that
you think we're going to put the mockers on it, don't you?
We just joked our way through the night without getting on the game, didn't we? We had
talked about everything other than football.
Yeah, just to keep it away. Don't want to. It does. It gets your stomach. The butterflies in your stomach start going, don't they? You know,
and it's probably because you've been players as well, Jason, that you feel like you've got no control over this now. If you could play, you'd be all right, but. You know, we've as supporters got very little control over that.
You do kick every ball, though, don't you? Yeah, you do. I mean, the ball comes into the... You seen you there. I was watching you. The ball come in when Genie's headed. You were up like with the header. You do kick every ball. Yeah. I mean, and it's horrible because obviously we've both been in the other side of it. We're into management as well, and you are literally helpless. You know, God only knows what Jurgen Klopp feels like.
Well, listen, we're going to take a little bit of a break here and refresh ourselves. There'll be no alcohol, hopefully, until the early hours of tomorrow morning for us. But look at this. The cities are full of Liverpool fans, full of expectation. And help settle your nerves by joining us a little bit later on at 6 o'clock as we build up to the big one. Enjoy your afternoon. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.